this candidate forum for Congressional District 4. I want to thank all of our candidates for being here today and giving us the opportunity to learn more about them and help us to make a super important decision in the August primary. We're really also want to thank Lee Summit Democrats for partnering with us on these events. We will have one additional candidate forum, which will be next Monday at 6 p.m. at, what's the location on that again, Shelley?
Courtyard at John Knox.
Courtyard at John Knox, so it won't be here. That one will be, and that one will feature the county executive candidates. So that's another one you don't want to miss. It's 6 p.m. at John Knox on this coming Monday. Some other very quick announcements. We have the Blue Springs Democrats are assisting with a fundraising fireworks tent along with the group My Brother's Keeper. It's a really great cause. We are looking for at least 7 more volunteers to sign up for that in order to participate. So if you haven't signed up yet, there is a sign-up sheet in the back. It'll be the week of the 4th that we'll be doing that, and we could really use your help. Sure, we will do that in just a second. But one other announcement we had was that t-shirts are in. I've got mine on here. If you ordered a t-shirt, please make sure you go and get it. I believe it's also in the back. See Sarah Consuela, and they can help get you taken care of there. So thank you for your patience getting the shirts in, but we've got them. Please get yours. Okay, we're going to real quick just acknowledge anyone who is an elected or running for office that is in the audience. So if you are an elected, just go ahead and stand up real quick so we can acknowledge you. Or running for office. See, Troy's not paying attention in the back. Antoine right here in the front. Jalen, Justice and Jalen are both here for District 1 on the list here. Did I miss anybody? Justin.
Yes.
Please get with them, learn more about their campaigns, and support them if you can. We are going to go right into the rules now, and I will have Consuelo, are you going to do that? Excellent.
So today the rules are we are keeping things respectful and civil, both attendees and candidates. Candidates, please focus on yourself and your platform when answering questions. This is not a debate. All questions need to be submitted in writing and provided with the provided note cards here in the center. Raise your card in the air and one of the volunteers will come and collect it. Avoid asking questions verbally to the candidates so that we can get to as many questions as possible. Please direct your questions to all candidates to ensure equal time. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer a question. A 30-second warning will be given with these lovely cards in the back, and the red will come up when it is time to stop. So, today we have the candidates listed in ballot order. We have Jordan Herrera, Wayne Russell, Hartzell Gray, Jeanette Cass, and Randy Miller. There are 2 additional candidates that chose not to join us tonight. All right, with that, I will hand it over to Scott to do questions.
All right, if you have a question for the candidates, make sure you use one of those cards and just hold it up and we will come and get it here in the back. We will start with a question from the Blue Springs Democrats. If elected, how do you plan to ensure that constituents in rural areas, before we do the questions, we need to do introductions, that's my fault. So we will go ahead and do 2-minute introductions for each candidate, same order that we just listed them. So Jordan Herrera, you will go first. Go ahead and take it away, sir.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. First, thank you Scott, Casey, Sarah, Consuela, and the Blue Springs Democrats for hosting this. If we can get a round of applause for them briefly. As well as any veteran, dependent, or anybody who has supported a veteran, please stand and be recognized so we can honor you briefly. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your service. And just one point of order, Ashley would have been here, however, she is working. So it wasn't necessarily a choice, she's just out of state. She does care about you guys. So a little bit about me, I'm Jordan Herrera. I served in the United States Air Force for nearly 16 years. I joined back in 2006. I started out with a GED in life. And what I want you to remember right now is I am nothing important. I am no one special. I am nothing unique. Any of you could do this right now, and that's the point of this race, of this campaign, is to find young people, to mentor them. Will and Ezra, if you don't mind raising your hands, these two gentlemen are in their 20s, they are my campaign managers, and every ounce of success we have is because of the power of young people. Now, as a master sergeant in the Air Force for nearly 16 years, my job was to take 18 to 24-year-olds and guide them, mentor them, and turn them into war fighters and leaders who could protect our United States Constitution with integrity, putting service before self and excellence in all they do. For nearly 20 years, I've been able to showcase that through my Air Force career and through this campaign. I was a biomedical and clinical engineer for the United States Air Force, and trust me, for a little poor kid out of Nebraska, you throw those big words in front of my face, I didn't know what the job was, but my recruiter, Clint Black, he was dating my cousin at the time, and I thought for sure he's not going to lie to me. So I asked him, what's the hardest job you got that's going to take the longest to get in? He said, go for 4A2X1. There's one Air Force person, so that's our Air Force AFSCs or MOS if you're prior military. So he joined to be a biomedical and clinical engineer, and he said it was going to be 6 months. 2 months later, I got the call, and within 2 days, I was on a plane. Now, oh, I'm sorry, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. My apologies.
Thank you, Jordan.
Story. When he was 6 years, no. So my name is.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Wayne Russell, and I am a teacher, coach of 20 years, a nurse of 40 years. I served in the United States Army, that's where I became a combat medic. I was teaching high school, and I was teaching one day, teaching German, and you can't talk about German and not talk about Hitler and fascism and war. And one of the students said, hey, my dad's a colonel in the Army, and he told me you don't have a right to talk about this unless you're in the military. I joined the Army the next summer. I have 9 kids, so I needed all the extra income anyway. And back then when I did, that was, in 2016, I was also diagnosed with cancer. And fortunately, the last 2 times I went there, it was gone, except for some melanomas on my face and stuff. But in 2016, we also had another cancer, Donald Trump, in our country. Our country got cancer. And it was rough for me, embarrassing for me at that time, that was 10 years ago, telling my children and grandchildren, hey, let's read what your president says. Things like, yeah, you can go ahead and grab by the hoo-ha or whatever. Yeah. I knew back then that man was physically, emotionally, and spiritually bankrupt. And I knew it at that time. And so we can see what has happened in our country. That stuff that's in him is coming out, and he's doing all the dangerous things for our country. He's endangering the lives of our soldiers. We're losing our money. And so I knew this was time for me to finally step in and do what I could to show what I know about that and how I could help make changes.
Next we'll hear from Hartzell Gray.
Hey everybody, thank you all so much for being here. All y'all are just incredible people. I love this entire process. Again, my name is Hartzell Gray. Our movement, we're running because we believe that we deserve it all. Working people deserve to be free and fed. That is our movement. I learned that from my great-grandmother. Her name was Priscilla, but to us, that's just Mama Silla. And Mama Silla taught us more than just like, the golden rule. She said, no, baby, you got to love everybody. And so that is this campaign. It is built on love and liberation. Universal health care that is ours, that includes abortion care, because it's not a moral issue, it's just a health care issue. Yeah. We're talking about universal job, employment that pays a living wage of $25 an hour, union protected. I'm talking guaranteed social housing that is ours, it's off the market, it's democratically controlled, and is funded in perpetuity. We can do all these things when our movement taxes the rich, when we defund ICE, when we invest in our people instead of investing in genocide and blowing up brown babies overseas. I want to make sure our babies over here can get all that they deserve, because they also deserve the most. And we're going to have an incredible conversation. We're going to be talking about so much, but I also want to say that this is a campaign with incredible folks up here on the stage who all are going to be more equipped than the unserious person known as Mark Alford. But this campaign that we have, yes, amen to that. But this campaign that we have here, we have raised close to $200,000. We have over 8,200 individual contributions as of like an hour or two ago. And all that is to say that we have incredible folks, but we need, in this urgency of now that MLK said, we need to run with this. We need the juice, we need the fire, we need the whirlwind, as Frederick Douglass said. So I can't wait to continue this conversation. Don't forget, we deserve it all.
Yeah. Our next candidate is Jeanette Cass.
Okay, so do I? It's hell right. I have the worst time with microphones. I'm so sorry. So I'm Jeanette Cass. I ran in 2024. I was the Democrat nominee in 2024 against Mark Alford. And I heard a lot of stuff from several people this year. They said, why are you running again? You only got 26, 27%. And I said, well, look at the last 4 elections. No Democrat got more than 27, 30, 33, I think, was the highest percentage rate any Democrat got in the 4th Congressional District. And that's why, after the last election, I didn't just sit at home and take up knitting. I drove fellow Missouri House candidates crazy about, look, we can't quit campaigning, and I've been campaigning ever since. I started working county by county to build up each county so they would be ready, spitting mad, ready to fight in 2026. So that's what I've been doing. I am a 5th generation Missourian, 5th generation Missouri dairy farmer. I have a small farm myself. I'm 30 years retired. After 30 years with the USPS, I'm retired, and I am a current union member. Now, the union did not endorse me this year because we had a long conversation about AI. And today I had a 6-hour private meeting with Governor Kehoe. 30 seconds?
30 seconds, you got that.
So I'm going to start having some town halls about AI. I've learned a lot more. I'm not going to say I'm full AI, but I want to open it up to discussion and talk to everybody about everything that I learned today. And I only have 30 seconds now. I'm scared to death. Because you know me, I get up here and I can talk all day. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to cut it short before they red flag me, because I don't like those red flags. But you guys ask me questions, I'll answer them, and I hope to have a town hall soon.
Thank you, Jeanette. Our final candidate tonight is Randy Miller.
Hey guys, my name is Randy Miller. I spent my career in radio. I was on Q104 here for about 15 years. Thank you. I had the one listener, and I've never run for office before, but when Mark Alford threatened to put a ICE detention center near my backyard, I just said, you know what? I think it's time that I spoke up. And so drove to Jeff City, got the stuff done. I'm now doing a radio show for the last 15 years called the National Defense Network, and it's for active duty military veterans and their families. I've been doing it. It's been such an honor for me to do that, and I have such a heart for veterans now. Thank you so much for your service. I plan to help veterans in the 4th District. The first thing I want to do is all these veterans that are living in rural areas that have to drive 90 minutes to the VA clinic, I want to set up satellite VA outpatient clinics. There's one in Nevada, Missouri right now, so they don't have to drive that far. And I've known Mark Alford, by the way, since we were both in the media. I've known him for about 20 years. I was doing a show at Whiteman Air Force Base last year, right after he was elected, And he comes over to my table and says, you want to interview me? And I said, not especially. And he said, Randy, you still don't accept me as your congressman. I said, I didn't accept you as my anchor man. But I know Mark, and I know his vulnerabilities, and I know his weaknesses, and I know I can beat that tiny Trumper.
Yeah.
I'm running as a common sense Democrat. Thank you so much for being. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Randy. All right, with that, we will jump right into the questions. I have started getting audience questions back here, but we could sure use some more. If you are interested, please fill out one of the cards and just hold it up, and we will come and get it from you. So thank you. As a reminder, we're going to do 1 minute answers to these questions, and we are going to rotate who goes first, and we'll just go in share order here. So this will go to Randy first, and then all of you will have an opportunity to respond. All right, so the first question here is from Blue Springs Democrats. Let's see. If elected, you will still be facing a White House that may oppose your priorities or use veto power. What do you believe you can realistically accomplish in the current political landscape, and how would you approach that challenge? Randy, you'll take this first.
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's a great question, and it's something that I feel like I am uniquely prepared to do, because when I said I'm a common sense Democrat, I'm of the Democratic Party that used to be. Okay, when I grew up in a little town in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Democrats at that time would listen. They wouldn't scream. They wouldn't talk over each other. And they would talk across the aisle. That's the thing that I can do, because I've been talking to people all my life. I know exactly what to say. I know how to break down the conversation with you. Humor, sports, music, something like that. But you have to be able to listen. And you have to be able to work across the aisle. And I think I bring that to the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
That's a great question, and to get elected is one thing, but to get anything of substance moved across the finish line, you're going to have to find a way to build coalitions, work across the aisle, and make sure that you can make inroads with people to get things done. Now, as an openly gay Democrat serving in the United States Air Force, I served under DADT. Doesn't matter, it was a conservative organization, I was still able to be the top airman. I got hired as an LGBT Democrat to work for Andrew Bailey. Didn't matter, my first case, I made trans policy and HIV policy better in every Missouri prison for the state of Missouri. What we need are people who are fearless Democrats ready to go out and talk to Republicans, independents, and conservatives, because there are millions of them who do not feel comfortable underneath MAGA. Now, we've been supported by Scott and Tyler White Fishing. We sponsor their boat out on Lake of the Ozarks, and we've been several times talking to anglers and fishermen. Democrats were invited out onto the water. We're hosting a trap and skeet tournament later this year because that's what Missouri folks do. That's how we reach people.
So over 40 years, I've taught high school students and nursing. I work with long-term care. I'm going to tell you that the elderly and the teenagers are about the same, because they'll tell you whatever they want. And they're not going to listen to everything that you, or believe everything that you say. However, when you show, there's a mantra, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. With that mantra, it's amazing that the other parties think that they have hijacked the terms American values or family values. No, we have that too. And with that, people look at what you've done. They look at what kind of person you have. And with that regard, I'll be able to work with anybody. I've done that my whole career.
Yeah, this is a very important question, and I'm so honored that I am endorsed by a sitting member of Congress. So I'm endorsed by Congressman Ro Khanna. So on day one, we have a coalition. We have a vote. We're going to have a new and improved squad. Listen, we're also going to make demands. I am a fighter. As Malcolm X said, I will work with anybody to do good and nobody to do bad. And listen, we're also going to make demands because our movement makes demands. If Hakeem Jeffries wants to be Speaker of the House, he's going to have to win my vote. I'm going to need to see some sort of legislation to raise the minimum wage. I'm going to need to see legislation that puts Medicare for All on the floor, or Hakeem Jeffries will not be getting my vote. It's time for us to meet the moment. We need to meet the courage of the folks in our district. Strongly worded letters don't do a thing. Tweets are not serious moments. We need serious people who are going to work and fight, build coalitions, and move things across the finish line. This campaign is uniquely suited to do exactly that.
So the one thing that I think that I can accomplish in DC in 2026, 2027, the one thing I'm going to go after is Citizens United. I mean, no matter what any candidate up here who wins goes to DC to accomplish, until we get rid of Citizens United, can I say this? We're screwed. So let's make that the number one thing that we're going to go after. Then there's a whole list of things that I want to get into. The second thing that I want to get into is stopping Trump and all the damage that he's already done, which is a lot. Then we start working to rebuild what he's torn apart. And it's going to take a long time to do that. But if you send somebody up there, like me, a working person, that's all I know how to do is work. That I'm going to stay there until it's done. I'm going to fight for it nonstop, and I'm going to fight for you. So she's going to red flag me.
Thank you, Jeanette. All right, our next question comes from the Lee Summit Democrats, and we will start with Jordan Herrera this time. With the new District 4 that features Kansas City, Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and rural areas, how will you ensure all parts have a voice?
So one of the cool things about this campaign is we talk about 4 predominant issues: housing, healthcare, education, food security. Doesn't matter if you're in Lebanon, Rolla, Stockton, or downtown Kansas City like me, housing is unaffordable. People are faced with home insecurity daily, and it's getting worse. Healthcare is inaccessible. Higher education, come on, who can afford it? Food security, getting harder and harder. There's so many food deserts all across this country. So how do we do this? We talk about the issues that unite us. We talk about the issues that bring us together. We're about building a bridge here, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in the rural parts of our state or if you're in downtown Kansas City like me. We're all affected by these predominant issues, and if we run things through them, then we win. For example, if we're talking about ICE, we don't need detention centers. We need housing that y'all can afford in, to build, to stay in, to build your lives in, and to build a future in. That's what we're looking for. We need healthcare people can access, right? So when we talk about the economy, we need to be running it through the fact that young moms and working families are coming out of the delivery room with debt and bankruptcy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
I think what we've all seen as we've been campaigning, that everybody is going through the same problems, as we've mentioned: education, healthcare, homelessness, things for our veterans. I have experience with all of these things and have a heart for it. And what we're going to be doing while we're campaigning, we're going to go where the Republicans aren't, to the youth, to the elderly, to the programs that are getting nixed by the government right now. I have 2 autistic boys, and we are right now, July 1st, he has to sign something, the bill, to be able to let us have the care for our son. That's just a couple weeks away, and if he doesn't, we have to go find somewhere else. And this problem is across the state, and we know that, and we're able to get out to those places who need those things.
Yeah, well, campaigning is all relational, right? Because there's no arbitrary boundary that says that we don't deserve to be free and fed. And so when we're talking to our folks, it's just meeting them at their level. You know, we have a campaign that has on the ground over 500 volunteers, but nationally we have thousands. You know, we have to meet our folks on their level, especially in this new space, this new reality of grabbing folks when we can, right? And so we also need to propose a material message. Like our campaign, again, we are proposing material benefits to make whole our soul. Trump put together a plan. It's called Project 2025, a material plan. He said, you know what? The rent is too high. But you know, it's not, he said it's not private equity or corporations or landlords. He said it's the Somalis, it's the immigrants. That's a material message. Now it's a lie, and it's racist, and it's bigoted, but our folks who are hurting needed something to hear, to have hope for, to fight for. It's time for our party. I'm an FDR type. Where is our New Deal? Where was our Project 2025? We have it now in this campaign.
So we're going to work together to bring urban and rural together. That's kind of the question, right? How we're going to do that? Well, I watched our jobs leave back when, I hate to say this out loud, President Clinton brought in NAFTA, and it killed our rural jobs. And so our youth had nowhere to go but to urban areas. But fast forward, so we really have to work to rebuild that. We have to bring back healthcare to our rural counties. And I don't mean that anyway over you guys. Talk faster, Jeanette. But that's what we have to do. And gosh dang it, now it's dropped my mind. We are gerrymandered for a reason. Because they know that the rural county voters are going to take away the blue votes. Yeah. They split Kansas City. Do I like it? I hate it. Do I like Kansas City? I love Kansas City. But the problem is, until we all work together in the 4th District and quit crying about being gerrymandered and start working together, we'll never beat them.
So I am pro-choice, but I'm also pro-voice. I believe that everybody deserves to be heard. And right now, the will of the people is not being heard in District 4 or Missouri at all. Yeah. Things are being shoved down our throat. Not just the redistricting, I'm talking about data centers. And data centers, on the first day that I am in Congress, I'm going to pass a moratorium on building any data centers until we find out much more about them, until the will of the people is heard, until you get to vote on things. That's the things that have been taken away from us, not just in District 4, but also in Missouri. You try to say something, and it's just like these amendments that are coming out that you get to vote for on August 4th. They're so confusing. They're absolutely ridiculous, and that's the way they want it. They want you to be confused. I'm not going to be confused any longer. I know what I want, and I want you to be heard.
All right. Along those lines, our next question, and we'll start with Wayne this time. What are your views on data center development? Does it improve the local community and provide jobs? And would you support a national ban on data centers?
Definitely would support a ban. We just don't know enough about it. In fact, what I know about it, Jeanette has taught me. And we see now that it's been very destructive to the environment. Of course, we know that there are jobs, but however, that has got to be studied more, and I would definitely support a ban.
Yeah, no, I hate AI, I hate data centers, and what we're gonna do is make sure we have a moratorium on these nonsense tax loopholes for these venture capitalists and these tech bros. Listen, we have in these data centers, they want to pump water into these machines that's then going to have an output that's gonna take our jobs away, it's gonna destroy our environment. Enough is enough. What we're gonna do is have a moratorium. We're going to regulate AI and data centers as a public utility, which means, yes, we will be owning that 100%. Senator Sanders has proposed 50%. I don't think that goes far enough. That's why I'm also so proud of our campaign. We're anti-AI. We don't use any of that nonsense. We have union printed. We have a power of the people campaign, not a manufactured oligarch structure to make a bunch of defense contractors rich and a bunch of Bezos types. No, enough of that. We're going to invest in our folks, and we're going to also make sure that these centers will be paying for reconstruction fees for the farmland they take or from rural parts, urban, suburban. We're going to hold these data center people accountable.
Okay, so today, a couple of days ago, I got a private invitation to an event with Governor Kehoe and a lot of AI people. And I spent 6 hours in that meeting, and it was very informative. If you look at my Facebook page, I said, get ready to swim with the sharks. And I walked in, and there's a lot of things that I learned in there. But I can tell you as a rural Countyan, we were unable to shut down the data center that came into Webster County. But we were able to put a moratorium on it for 6 months. That's all we could get. If you're concerned about data in your area, then you need to be on your toes right now. You need to be contacting your utility company and your commissioners and make sure that they are not putting any NDAs, because right now they are eating up every county in Missouri. They want our water.
Yeah. Yep.
We have a lot of water.
Yeah.
So it's up to you and me to get busy and check with those people I just mentioned, utilities and commissioners. Sorry, I went over. Sorry.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll tell you about my moratorium on the data centers. And did you know right now there are 91 data centers in operation in Missouri? 91. Each one of them takes enough electricity for 80,000 households. That should terrify you. And the other thing about these data centers that are coming in, they have to sign NDAs so that they can't tell certain things about them. So that means we don't find out about them. I mean, they are not transparent. They've never been transparent. And the people that are just ramrodding them down our throats, they don't have to tell us anything about that. I've got a plan that hopefully I can share with you later on about expanding Whiteman Air Force Base into a great, maybe the largest defense and technology corridor in the Midwest. And it's a process that, unlike the data centers, you'll all get to be a part of, and you'll all get to ride along at every step.
So when I was active duty, I was the biomedical and clinical engineer for Air Force Global Strike. That means all of the healthcare facilities that fall underneath all of our bomber bases, I was responsible for all of their biomedical and clinical engineering programs. I've also built healthcare facilities. Over at Whiteman Air Force Base, Scott Air Force Base, we built the 3rd floor clinic in O'Fallon, Illinois. Over here at Whiteman, I did a project, a $19 million and a $26 million construction project. Out of everyone up here, I have built the infrastructure, and I know how to build the right way. I am for the slowing down of the rapid development of AI and data centers in our communities without local consideration. I'm here to regulate them responsibly and to make sure they are built in the right way such that it preserves our environment for today and our future generations. We cannot be technology adverse. We have to grow and innovate with it. However, unless there are smart regulations in place followed by enforcement powers, we should not be building. What I'm talking about with investigatory and enforcement powers is through the EPA, DOE, and USDA.
Thank you, Jordan. All right, our next question will be first for Hartzell. And this is a combination of at least some of Democrats' question with an audience question. Do you support the PRO Act, and how will you promote increased labor protections and unionization?
Yes, so I absolutely support the PRO Act. It's going to be one of those first things we do week 1. And we have to empower organized labor, especially in this movement. We fight fascism with organized labor. And so we will make sure that we have the strongest protections. We make sure that we get back to card check. For those who know what that is, it means if you have enough folks, the majority to unionize, it will be accepted. You don't have to worry about having to fight Trump's National Labor Relations Board, which is just a bunch of cronies. So again, we need to make sure that we're always there. We have to, when we say have the back of organized labor, it's making sure we're there on the picket line, yes, but also in the halls of power. Right now, we need organized labor. We need union protections. DOGE has dismantled our entire government, and it hasn't stopped. We just don't have the logo anymore. Our folks are being decimated. We need to make sure that we can empower our folks to have a say, not just in the workplace, but a say in their lives. This is how we make our lives better. Together, we organize, we fight, and we win. And we do that so effectively because of and with organized labor.
I don't know how I can be on labor. I'm still a union member. For 30 years, I've been a union member with the Postal Service. I've been a union steward. I have fought to protect my coworkers' jobs when management was kind of, messing around with their jobs. And I have also had to correct some employees and say, you just can't do that unless you want to pay $5,000 fine and go to jail for 5 years. So let's not do that anymore, and I'll get you off of this one this time. But yes, I am pro-union. I will fight life and death for union, just like I will fight life and death for any other person in the job. I don't think our companies should be getting all of these tax write-offs if they are not paying their employees enough to live on. As a single mom, my union job is what allowed me to raise my 2 children by myself when dad didn't want to be a dad anymore without getting any kind of government assistance. I have nothing but respect for them, and I'll fight for them hand over fist.
I remember when I was first introduced to the union, I went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as a 21-year-old kid, and I joined AFTRA, first union I ever joined. And the second day I was there, they voted to strike. And when the steward told me that, I said, well, yeah, I'm not going to vote for that. They said, I'm sorry, you don't have a choice. But that was my first introduction to how strong and how protective unions are. I got to tell you, some unions are better than others. The teachers union, I love that the teachers have a union, but teachers are in a horrible position right now, almost last in the nation in pay, in starting pay, and in regular pay. Teachers need to make so many more strides in terms of their union demands, and that's why we have a union, though, because you have those unions that protect you, that fight for you, and protect your jobs. It's so. I talked to a union guy the other day who's been in a union for almost 40 years. He said, I don't know how I could have gotten through life any other way. I'm definitely pro-union.
So I'm incredibly honored to have received the State of Missouri AFL-CIO endorsement, along with the City of Kansas City and the City of Springfield, Missouri, and if that's not uniting rural and urban, I don't know what is. But we didn't stop there. We also picked up today Kansas City Building and Construction Trade Council, and we're still growing in union support. So when it comes to organized labor, how do we do it? We learn their language. Now, I started out as an electrician. And then I started in mechanics, hydraulics, pneumatics. Anybody who's ever been in the Air Force knows you learn multiple skills coming into the Air Force, and then you get to do your job. So it was through trades, it was by being an electrician that this young poor person from Nebraska saw a future for himself, and he could call himself a biomedical engineer. Trades today are the best source of funding for young people to get a career and to get started in life. In the concrete layers union, right now they're paying $29 an hour. How many of you knew that? It tops out at 61, and that's without a degree. That's why I support organized labor.
As a career nurse and a career teacher, I've seen what it's like when people are not unionized. And I've seen both of them complaining the whole time about the wages they make, and then when unions made progress, those who weren't in the union were given the same benefits. And teachers, of course, 71% of all teachers have to work another job. And unions are what have helped teachers move along. In healthcare, they made a lot of progress. In fact, they unionized so that they would not even go to work and really put them all in a position to be able to give them the demands that they need.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, our next question, and we will start with Jeanette on this one. And this is an audience question. Do you support public funding for private school vouchers or charter schools?
Oh, hell no. Sorry, language. No, I do not. I'm on the school board in my small town of Niagara, and we just laid off 4 teachers because our funding got cut, and then we've got more teachers. We're already short next year, and we're going to have to cut some more. And so, no, I do not support funding our charter or private schools at all. I will tell you a little secret I don't share because I usually don't have time, but I did send my kids to a Catholic school, and I'm not going to have time to tell you why, but I was very proud to be able to pay that tuition. My eye doctor sent his children to the same school, and we had this argument when he found out I was running for office. He goes, well, we should get some help. He said, and I said, I don't think we should. And then he said, well, if you would just not make us pay sales tax for the public school, then we can pay our own tuition and go on. So worst case scenario, I would take that in a heartbeat, but I'm out of time. This is not fair. We need like 2 minutes. Sorry about that, thank you.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about teachers, and if you think about your teacher, your favorite teacher, think about